Good day, everyone. We are Group 3, and our topic is microplastics in the air. When we hear the word plastic, we usually imagine bottles, wrappers, or bags floating in the ocean. But what if plastic is not only in the water or on the ground? What if it's also in the air we breathe? Today, we will discuss how microplastics become airborne, what causes them, and why they are worrying, how they may affect our health, and what we can do to reduce our exposure.
Microplastics becoming airborne is, unfortunately, simply a byproduct of the cycle in the production of microplastics, and a natural progression of microplastic pollution. Due to the resilient nature of plastics and their non-biodegradability, plastics simply do not get destroyed, unless through proper disposal methods. While it may start off as terrestrial or aquatic, erosion causes them to break down further and further into smaller but more numerous parts. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration defines them as plastic residue the size of 5 millimeters and lower. According to Jie et al. In their study, Inhalable Microplastics Prevails in Air, exploring the size detection limit, they were able to find microplastics coming in sizes as small as 1 micrometer. While some of these objects may end up ingested by other aquatic life or combining with other microplastics, that is not what happens to a noticeable majority. With how small the objects are, it would only take weaker gusts of wind to be able to move these plastics into the air, especially given how gusts in the ocean can reach as high as 40 kilometers an hour. Furthermore, it should be noted that microplastics that are airborne can remain in the atmosphere for up to a year, according to a study by Yang et al. The study additionally mentions how this particulate matter can travel across the globe, with some microplastics originating from high-emission sources, like continents Europe and North America, being found all the way in the Arctic. While HEPA filters, or air purifiers, can work on microplastics indoors, outdoor airborne microplastics still remain difficult to fully get rid of. All in all, the prospect of microplastics becoming airborne is a glaring reminder of the severity of microplastic pollution. Having originally come from land and water until it became airborne, the question shifts from when microplastics become in the air to now only being how much microplastics we can afford to have.
So what causes microplastics? Well, they're mainly caused by the breakdown of larger plastic materials and their products that already release tiny particles. In simple terms, they come from plastic that slowly breaks apart but never fully disappears. One major cause is improper plastic waste disposal. When plastic bags, bottles, food wrappers, packaging, and other plastic items are thrown away carelessly, they can end up in streets, rivers, oceans, and landfills. Over time, sunlight, heat, waves, wind, and friction weaken these plastics instead of biodegrading like natural materials. They fragment into smaller and smaller pieces until they become microplastics. Another major source is synthetic clothing, such as polyester, nylon, and acrylic. When these clothes are washed, they shed tiny plastic fibers into the water. These fibers can pass through wastewater systems and eventually reach rivers and oceans. The European Parliament lists synthetic clothing as one of the biggest sources of primary microplastics, together with tire abrasion from vehicles. Microplastics also come from tires. Every time vehicles move, their tires rub against the road, and this friction releases tiny particles from the tire material which can mix with dust, rainwater, and air. This is why microplastics are not only found in water, but can also become part of dust and air pollution. There are also smaller but still important sources such as plastic pellets used in manufacturing, road markings, paints, marine coatings, and personal care products. The IUCN identifies major sources of primary microplastics as tires, synthetic textiles, marine coatings, road markings, personal care products, plastic pellets, and city dust. So overall, microplastics are caused by the way people produce, use, wash, throw away, and wear down plastic materials. They are not caused by one single thing. They come from everyday actions and objects, which is what makes them difficult to control. This connects to the next point in our discussion, because once these particles become small enough, they can move from land and water into the air.
Moving on to why microplastics are worrying. The danger that microplastics pose rests heavily on the fact that people often underestimate their prevalence and how subtly they can enter the human body. Microplastics are easily ingested due to their micro-level sizes. They can move quickly through the food chain and persist in the environment as they are refractory to biodegradation. Due to their nano-level sizes, microplastics are extremely difficult, if not almost impossible, to filter out from the environment once released. Thus, they can be found in various human organs such as the brain, testicles, heart, stomach, lymph nodes, and placenta. Similarly, microplastics were revealed to be in human fluids such as urine, semen, breast milk, and meconium. One such doctor by the name of Kara Meister, MD, also revealed that there was indeed microplastics in a large amount of pediatric tonsil tissue after searching for microplastics in the tonsils of children. It is said that microplastics can induce physical and mechanical harm to both humans and animals alike, most especially the sea creatures that mistake them for food. According to animal and cellular studies, they can cause biological changes that include inflammation, an impaired immune system, deteriorated tissues, altered metabolic function, abnormal organ development, cell damage, and more.
Since we now know how dangerous microplastics can be, you may be asking, how do we avoid being exposed to them? There are some ways one can go about this. One way includes cleaning your home or vacuuming regularly. Microplastics can be found in dust and can become airborne, which can lead to people accidentally ingesting it. According to an article by Agil et al., there is a worldwide study on microplastics in house dust, and it found that microplastics were found in 286 dust samples. By simply cleaning your home or vacuuming, you are reducing the amount of dust particles that may have accumulated over time, as well as the amount of microplastics that may have also settled. And of course, avoiding things that have plastic or synthetic materials is also an effective way of reducing direct contact with objects that can shed microplastics. These items include synthetic clothing, plastic chopping boards, plastic packaging and Tupperware, plastic kitchen utensils, plastic furnishings and decorations, and much more. There are alternatives for these items that are much safer for your health and the environment. You can change your synthetic clothing for cotton or any other natural textile. You can use wooden chopping boards and tools, and use ceramic or glass Tupperware to store food.
The effects of microplastics can vary widely depending on what part of the body has the most, but overall, effects it does have is nothing short of bad for the entire body. Starting with the skin. According to Winiarska et al., though not enough research has been made on the human body, the worst thing that can happen is an allergic reaction or the body may contact dermatitis. Next, for the gastrointestinal tract, according to Lee et al., ingestion of enough microplastics may cause inflammation and changes to the microbiome of the intestine, where an imbalance of beneficial and harmful bacteria may occur. It may also cause abdominal pain, bloating, and irregular bowel movement, nausea, and vomiting. For the respiratory tract, according to the same people, Winiarska et al. And Lee et al., too much inhaled microplastics may cause lung cancer, bronchiolitis, and respiratory issues such as coughing, wheezing, and dyspnea. And lastly, for the reproductive system, according to, again, the same people, microplastics can cause a decrease in fertility or infertility, a miscarriage, or a congenital malformation such as reduced offspring weight.
To conclude, microplastics in the air show that plastic pollution is not only found in oceans, streets, and landfills. Because plastic does not easily disappear, it breaks into tiny particles that can travel through air, water, and dust. This is worrying because microplastics can enter our bodies and may affect our breathing, digestion, immune system, and overall health. But we can still reduce exposure by cleaning regularly, using fewer plastic products, choosing safer alternatives, and disposing of plastic properly. In the end, microplastics may be tiny, but their impact is something we should not ignore.